Be up, guys, be up once again. I'm back with the buzz, still buzzing. My second show, obviously, that I do in the week, and obviously more international matches to go through and stuff. Obviously, got the international break now because obviously we've got World Cup qualifying and the Nations League as well, playoffs to talk about. And that's where I'm going to actually start with the Nations League. We'll be bringing my guests on very shortly, and I will also apologise for it not being at 6. Obviously, something else came up, but I'm obviously on here now and want to get on with it. And obviously got the timer and all that to use as well. So our guests are on the timer as usual. So let's hope they can do it. They can do it in that time. But anyway, we will go into this, and the first one I will go into is this: Greece versus Scotland, first leg of the Nations League. And obviously, I will be bringing my guest on very soon. It's obviously an expert on Scotland. I'll bring him on very soon. And obviously, we're going to that, and then obviously my other guest as well. But yeah, I'll bring him on for that. But I'm just going to bring this article up, and hold on a minute. Right. That says a bit more about it, and there's also one here who you would pick. I mean, this is the actual sort of predictions and so forth about it. But I've got a gadget thing on here that I'll go into in a minute that sort of allows you to pick who you play, and my guests will probably no doubt want to do that. So anyway, right, get rid of that thing. Right, Greece versus Scotland, which is obviously tomorrow, the first of the playoffs, first leg, 7:45, the Olympiacos Stadio Spiros Louis Stadium. And of course, Greece, we had trouble with them at one stage. England, of course, we lost to them at home, of course, at Wembley, in one of those games, qualifying games, of course. I think it was for the Euros. Might have been for the Euros. I know it was. Obviously, was it last year? Whatever. It's gone so quick. It's hard to remember, but I know we had trouble with them, and obviously lost in that one of them games. So at home at Wembley. So that's. We know they are slippery, Greece, aren't they? Very slippery. But yeah, anyway, so the previews there, this is prediction, team news and lineups. I'll just go through this and then bring my guest on to talk about it. Vying for a place in UEFA Nations League's top tier, Scotland and Greece will meet for the first leg of their promotion relegation playoff on Thursday. The Scots face a fight to retain their hard-earned League A status as the hosts are intent on joining Europe's elite. Having finished third in League A Group 1, Scotland will still have the chance to avoid relegation with their 2-1 last day victory in Poland, securing this two-legged playoff. Despite Steve Clarke's priority being the World Cup qualifiers later this year, his team must first scrap for survival in Europe's top flight, following a positive climax to an otherwise dismal campaign. After putting the first point on the board by holding group leaders Portugal to a goalless draw, the Scots went one better in November when their long wait for a win finally ended in Glasgow. Clarke's side lay bottom of the table and were in danger of heading straight back down to League B, but John McGinn steps off the bench to net a late winner against 10-man Croatia. The midfielder then opened the scoring against Poland before stalwart left back Andrew Robertson netted another last-gasp decider, meaning that Scotland has celebrated wins in both of their last two matches, more often than across the previous 16. During a grim winless run featuring no fewer than 10 defeats, Clarke came under serious pressure, but now he can look forward to next year, when the first Scottish World Cup appearance since 1998 could be up for grabs. Set to meet again on the road to the 2026 Global Finals with the pair drawn together in Group C, Scotland now now visit Greece for the first time since qualifying for Euro 96. Cool. That long ago. When both nations won 1-0 on the home turf. And League B Group 2 winners, Group 2 runners-up last year, Ivan Jovanovic steered his side towards a playoff place by running England close. Yeah, they sure did. In the fight for automatic promotion. In fact, they held a 100% record after 4 match days before losing 3-0 to the Three Lions in Athens. Nonetheless, just a few days later, victory in Finland fittingly wrapped up an impressive campaign. Greece have now won 6 of their last 7 matches, scoring at least twice on each occasion. And such form suggests they can target a World Cup return, having last qualified in 2014. The Gallinalefki have also forged a fearsome reputation at the lower levels of UEFA's newest international tournament, winning more Nations League fixtures than any other country. So confidence should be sky high on Thursday. After accruing 16 victories from a possible 24 so far, they are potentially just 2 games away from taking a seat at Europe's top table, but a revived Scotland side stand in their way. Greece, this is Greece Nations League form, 1-1, 1-1, lost and won. And Scotland, not as great, you could say there, lost, drawn, 1-1. While young winger Ben Doak will miss out on both legs due to a serious thigh injury, Steve Clarke has been able to recall Torino striker Shay Adams and Bologna midfielder Lewis Ferguson, the latter of whom also sat out Euro 2024. Since returning from a long-term layoff at the end of last year, Ferguson has captained the Rosso Blue several times in Europe and Serie A, and he could now link up with Aston Villa skipper John McGinn. McGinn's goal against Poland was his 20th for Scotland's senior side, making him just the 5th player to reach that milestone. While Napoli's Scott McTominay also tends to chip in with his fair share from midfield. Up front, Clarke has finally lost faith in Lawrence Shankland, with 18-year-old Hearts striker James Wilson being selected instead. Motherwell midfielder Lennon Miller and Ipswich Town forward George Hurst have also been handed their first call-ups. Meanwhile, Vangelis Pavlidis spearheads the host attack, with support from Club Brugge's Christos Solis, who has also featured regularly in this season's Champions League. Yet Tazos Besiktas usually poses the most threat. Since the 2020-2021 Nations League, only Erling Haaland, 22, has been directly involved in more goals than the Panathinaikos playmaker, 14. Only Kevin De Bruyne can match his tally of assists, 7. However, Greece coach Ivan Jovanovic must look for inspiration elsewhere this month, as his captain has been sidelined by a thigh problem. Elsewhere, Slavia Prague midfielder Christos Zafiris is available after serving a suspension in Finland, while highly rated Belgian-born teenager Kostas Karitsas has been selected after switching allegiance. Right, so I'll bring Warren on now, and I'm sure he'd like to go into this a lot more, and we bring him on. He's been a Scotland fan, of course. Be up to you, buddy. I know you can't be on long, but will you be able to go through this a bit? Obviously, as it's your team, your nation, Scotland.
Yeah, of course, mate. Not a problem. I can only stay on till what's the time now? Yeah, I can stay on for about 20 minutes, but then I'll have to go, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. That's fine. But what do you make of this? What do you make of the teams here? They're saying the possible lineups: Gordon, Ralston, Suter, Hanley, Robertson, Gilmore, Ferguson, McGinn, McTominay, Christie, Adams. Is that a lineup you'd have?
Yeah, I think more or less it is. Is Tierney in it?
Don't say about Tierney, no. Don't think so.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be on the bench. But yeah, more or less the lineup I would go for. It may be have Tierney in there as well, but other than that, I can't really complain about that. I mean, the only thing is that like the Europa League, the Nations League form at the beginning was pretty grim. But they'd been on such a winless run for so long that you know. But to be honest, I think that Steve Clark was lucky to be in a job. To be honest, because it was the longest run without a victory in our history. To be frank, so yeah, I think he was lucky to be in a job. And I'm disappointed that Ben Doak's not going to be there, but he's injured, so there's nothing to do about that. But you know, it's just a shame that we haven't got a real top draw striker, because I think that team, if we had a top draw striker in it, we'd be a major threat. But we haven't, and that's been a problem for a long time. And I just think that it's indicative of the shambles and incompetence at the heart of the Scottish Football Association, because it is a shambles, mate. It really is. It's just like a catalogue of incompetence, and it's been going on like best part of 70 odd years, if not longer. You know, so it's and like they need to sort it out, because they're not going to be competitive until they do. So, what do I think? What do I think the result will be? I'm not sure. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and there was this Greek football expert on there talking, and he was saying that they're going to be missing some of their top players for this match. But that team, mate, they are a major team. This game is going to be really tricky. There's the one when they were doing the draw or whatever it was for these playoffs. They were the one country I wanted to avoid, because
but they beat us. They beat us, didn't they?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They went to Wembley, and not only did they beat England, no, they absolutely destroyed him. They had about 2 or 3 goals disallowed or something as well. So they're a decent outfit, and it could be really tricky if we can come away from there with like a 1-goal defeat or like a draw. I'll be really happy with that. I really will, because I think we could do the business at home. But if we lose by 2 or 3, it's all over, because we just haven't got the goal threat.
Yeah. I mean, I've got this thing here where you can actually pick your own team here, Warren. what formation would you have? What do they usually play, Scotland? Do you know? Is it 4-4?
Before Tierney got injured at the Euro, when the Nations League started, they went to a 4-4-2.
Right.
Sorry, a 4-3-3, right? Because prior to up until the Euros finished, they were playing a 3-5-2, or 3-5-2. So I'm going to go for
what? So you'd have a 3-5-2, would you? Or?
Yeah, I think I would, because I want Tierney in the team.
Right, 3-5-2. Right, there we go. And the goalie, obviously Craig Gordon, I take it, will be in goal.
Yeah, if he's fit.
Yeah,
he's still got an injury with him.
And you haven't got Angus Gunn isn't fit, is he? Apparently, so
no. So the back three, it's at the left side. It is, isn't it? So Tierney.
Tierney. Yeah.
Suter.
Let's see, where is he? There, right.
And then the right hand side. God, who have we got here? Because I'm struggling to see it, mate. To be honest,
I can't zoom in, I'm afraid, mate. I can't really zoom in, I don't think. Right, so we got Grant Hanley, Jack Hendry, Max Johnston, Scott McKenna, Kenny McLean, Scott McTominay's really midfielder, isn't he? Ryan Porteous, Anthony Ralston, or Andy Robertson.
I think I would go for Grant Hanley.
Right, yeah.
I think. Then in that 5, yeah, I'm going to go there for Andy Robertson because he's going to be the the
left, yeah,
left wing.
Yeah.
And then in the 3, I'm going for Scott McTominay.
What, in the middle or left, right-sided, left-sided?
Yeah, in the middle probably.
In the middle, right. Scott, yeah, there we go. And left and right, and what's it, right wing as well?
John McGinn, Billy Gilmore. I'm not really bothered about what side either because this.
Let's put Gilmore there and McGinn over here. We'll put him over. Right, there we go. And on was it the right wing there?
Is that right? Is that right or is it left? I think we've messed this up.
No, that's right, isn't it, with Robertson? Is that right? Or is that left?
Right, Andy Robertson, I want him on the left, mate.
Oh, so you want him over here, over this side?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, mate. No worries. It's all right. I'll sort it out. Sorry, mate. You're right. Hold on. How the fuck? Bloody thing.
Don't worry. We just it don't matter. We can. It just doesn't matter. Right. So
over this side. Who would you want on this side? Did you say, Warren? On the right side.
Defender, probably.
I
can't see the name. Who?
Christie, Conway, Ferguson, Johnston, McLean, Miller, Nisbet, and Ralston.
Anthony Ralston.
Right, so I got him there. So we put over this side, Robertson. Right, there we go. And then the 2 up front.
Up front, I'd have. Who's the option? What's the striker options?
Shay Adams, Ryan Christie, Tommy Conway, George Hurst, Kevin Nisbet, and James Wilson.
Shay Adams.
Right, yeah.
And Nisbet.
Right. Okay. So you're happy with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, and it's saying what would your team talk be? You've chosen your. Would you do what do you call it? What's the name? Bassett, and go in there and go, get them fucking killer and get loads of goals. Fucking get
exactly. I'd be saying Scotland will be playing 3-5 fucking 2.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, no, I would just say to them, look, you the opportunity to go and cement your position in Group A for next season, right? Like keep it tight, keep it safe. Don't do anything stupid. Try and frustrate them, silence the crowd, and then we'll just hit them on the break because I think that's our best option over there. Do you know what I mean? I don't think really needs a big team talk, but because you'd be going through the tactics and whatnot in the days before, but like just before they go out, you just give them a rebel rousing speech, and make sure that you draw reference to all the supporters that are out there, and saying that you're representing the country and all your friends and family are watching and all this carry on, So that's what I would do, more or less. I think.
I mean, it is only the first leg, though, isn't it, fella? But I mean, if you get a good start there in the first leg, you take a goal back, you'll be happy, won't you? A little win back.
Yeah,
You know?
like I said, if we can score a goal and either get a draw, which I think we're capable of doing, or lose like narrowly by 1 goal, then I'll be happy with that because I think we can turn it round at home. But if we like lose by 2 or 3, I think it's over.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because it's just because we don't score a lot of goals. That's the problem. We're not like one of these teams that will go and put 3 or 4 past somebody. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. And it hasn't for a long time. Not since I was a kid. So, in fact, I think I've only ever seen Scotland score 5 once, and that was against New Zealand in the World Cup in '82.
That's only New Zealand, isn't it? Yeah.
Huh?
They were nothing special, I suppose, New Zealand, were they? Back then?
But they managed to score 2. That was the thing.
Oh, right. Oh, I don't remember it, but yeah. When was it? 82? Oh, right.
Yeah, 82 in Spain.
Oh, yeah. I remember that tournament, obviously, because obviously England were in it as well. So
Yeah, and that team, that we were in a group with Brazil, and their team was just unreal. They had Cow, they had Zico, they had fucking like all over the pitch was world class players, right? And we took the lead through David Neri, that Jimmy Hill famously called a toe poke. Right, right.
Yeah.
Up until just before half time, it was still 1-0, and then free kick on the edge of the penalty area, and he just fucking curled it right round the wall, and Alan Ruff's just standing there like fucking hell. What was that?
yeah. But also Saskia Guna's here saying it's Tierney's right centre back. Is that? Oh, we got him on the right.
We just messed it up, mate. Don't worry about it.
Oh, right. I know. No, but yeah. I'll switch it over in a minute, but yeah, So you think you're fairly confident, are you, for this one tomorrow, Warren?
No,
or?
I'm not. I'm worried about it because I think they're a decent outfit, and like I said, it was the one team I wanted us to avoid more than any other, right? I just know how good they are. But having said that, they have got some of their top players missing apparently. So we haven't got Ben Doak. I'd be a lot more confident if that young fella was playing because he is quality.
Yeah, he is a good player. Yeah,
I think the Bees have been sniffing around him as well, haven't they?
We were, yeah. We were linked with him, mate. Yeah, yeah. I think he's got a lot of talent. He's from Liverpool, isn't he? Plays there.
He's I think he's at Middlesbrough at the moment on loan.
Yeah.
He's really young. He's only about 19, something like that.
Yeah, he's got talent. What I can see, ability. So
we got another one as well, a midfielder called Lennon Miller, but I don't think he'll get the start. I think he might come off the bench, but he's a really good player.
Yeah, but so really, what can you say? The prediction of a score? What do you think it'd be? Would you want something like a 1-1 or say it 1-0, something like that? Or
I could see definitely a 1-1 draw. 100%. But what I don't is like 2 or 3. If we lose 2 or 3, we're going to be really up. I just don't. 3, that's it. Game over. I cannot see us getting 4 in the second leg. It just won't happen. Right? We'd struggle to get 3, to be honest. That's why I'm saying it has to be by 1 goal because otherwise we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, have you got anything more to add there, mate? Or are you happy with all that? You said you've got to go. Have you got to go now?
I'm a bit concerned about
Mm.
what sort of team that I'm going to talk about it briefly, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm very concerned about the selection Tuchel, mate.
Yeah, I'm leaving that to last. Actually, Warren, that game. I've got a few interesting things to add to that, to say about that.
Well,
So you can
you
say
look
what
at
you want.
his record in club football. It's not great, is it?
No.
Do you know it really went badly wrong for him at Bayern Munich.
Mm.
You know, with the array of talent that he had at his disposal there, and he messed it up royally, to be quite honest. So for England,
to him, he's walked away from. He's walked away from positions as well. And I mean, he's like that thing. Remember that thing he had with Conte? Do you remember that Conte as well? Yeah, that bust up with him. So he's controversial. He brings shit with him, wherever he goes.
This is the thing. I'm surprised that the English FA appointed them, because they don't like appointing people that are controversial, and they just don't. I mean, you meant I said it to you the other day about Brian Clough. Do you know what I mean? It was one of the they didn't want to appoint him because he is controversial.
Yeah, all them stories I was watching, they were brilliant, mate. They were funny.
The business with the iron, that was just class. Left back is a fraud. If my Barbara rings up number, are you going to answer the phone? And he goes, no. And he said, well, you're a fraud then, aren't you? Fucking hilarious. That's Cloughy all over.
Who was it, that player? Was it I think it was Brian Laws or whatever. And he went into him and he asked him, are you any good, young man? I said, well, if you're interested in me, sir, Brian, yeah, I must be good. And he goes, no, I've never seen you play. Are you any good?
Excellent. Oh, dear, mate. It is hilarious. It really is. Listen, Steve, I'm really sorry, mate, but I'm going to have to go.
No worries, mate. I mean, I've got Manny to bring on as well. See if he agrees with your team and whatever there for Scotland.
Yeah,
he might change it up. We'll see. But
yeah,
obviously, I didn't bother with the timer because I knew you was going soon anyway, so it was not worth having the timer going. But anyway, cheers for coming on, bro. And,
no, mate, I'll watch it on playback later because I've got to do some other stuff. But
do you want to quickly shout yourself out there? Quickly, anything?
Yeah, you can find me on Warren's Team Talks YouTube channel, and I'm on X, I'm on Facebook, Blue Sky, and Threads. So you can find me in any one of those platforms. I'm not really posting much at the moment because I've got a lot going on. But hopefully in another week or two, I'll be able to start doing some stuff. I can't guarantee it, but hopefully soon. So yeah, look, Steve, please, thanks ever so much for having me on and letting me have a chat with you and whatnot. Please, people, make sure you subscribe to this man's YouTube channels, Mr. B for Life, the Mr. B, the Hive of Football Chat, and also Mr. B Chats England Cricket. Both channels are absolutely excellent. So yeah, thanks a lot, Steve, and good luck with the rest of the show, mate. And like I say, I'll be watching later.
Yeah, no worries, Warren. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Brilliant. And enjoy your rest of your evening and stuff. And good luck tomorrow for the Scotland. Right. Good luck.
Thank you. And same to England, mate. Thanks ever so much. Take care, buddy.
Cheers. You too, my friend. Take care.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye. So he's gone, and I'll bring my other guest on now. I'll just we'll go through a few of these comments quickly as well. But I'll bring Manny on, patiently waiting. Be up to you, sir. Apologies for keeping you waiting there. But obviously, I thought I'd get Warren on because he's a Scotland man, isn't he? He supports the Scotties. So, yeah, I'll have him on first.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed for bringing me on, good sir. And yeah, I'm also glad that you're doing this stream because you know, I do love international football. And I remember, obviously, when after 2 games of the Nations League, Scotland were almost down and out after 2 defeats. I believe they lost 2-1 to Portugal in Lisbon and had a very an absolutely abject, desperate 3-2 loss at home to Poland. Then, of course, they lost their first-choice goalkeeper, Angus Gunn, who I call Tommy Gunn. I mean, you know, that was hyped as Scotland's rightful number 1, the best goalkeeper they had going into the Euros, but he did not have a good tournament at all, it has to be said. And then when he got injured and Craig Gordon was called back from the pensioners' home as a joke, I think a lot of Scotland fans were fearing the worst. But, you know, that really coincided with a wonderful, you know, upturn in performances. And Gordon has been in pretty good form for Heart of Midlothian, recovering from a pretty awful start to, you know, recover well to be in a respectable position. And they could still qualify for Europe by the end of the season if they continue their upturn in form. Now, I see you're sort of playing around with the team. And I do have the squad.
All right.
Of course, there are some very misses in the squad, actually, if you take a look at it, because some very important players who have been crucial to Scotland's upturn and successes in recent times are not there at the moment. The big issue, one of the big issues with Scotland is that, as Warren said, they don't really have a really good striker because there's no Lawrence Shanklin in the squad. He's had an up and down season with Heart of Midlothian. And they've also lost the Aussie Scot, Lyndon Dykes, who's out with an injury. And I often said that Dykesy is very much a dead ringer for a certain Paul Gascoigne in many ways. If you take a look at the facial expressions and the build, you know, Dykesy is more or less Scotland's
cancer. Don't quite play like him.
No, different sorts of players, and obviously, you know, you wouldn't catch Lyndon doing something so stupid as playing a flute in front of Celtic fans. That is something that Warren would not want to remember fondly at all. But
no,
you know, obviously, without Shanklin and Dykes, they're slightly weakened. But they do have this exciting youngster named Gordon Hurst, whose father David was a striker at one time on the books of Sheffield Wednesday. When they were managed by Trevor Francis, of all people. I think they were in the Premiership that first season, but then they got relegated and also lost twice to Arsenal in cup finals, the League Cup and the FA Cup, when we did the double. So I'm not too sure that Sheffield Wednesday fans will like Arsenal very much for those particular reasons. Also because I believe it was a loss to Arsenal that confirmed their relegation. So you were talking about the possible formations that would be played, and I think, you know, Warren was mentioning a 3-5-2. The thing is, though, they went to a 3-5-2 in the Euros, and they used the likes of Ryan Porteous and Grant Hanley as centre-backs alongside Kieran Tierney. And in the absence of Nathan Patterson and Aaron Hickey, I believe Anthony Ralston of Celtic was used as the right wing-back. Now, I'm actually a little bit concerned because when you have a 3-5-2 formation, you end up having to sort of shove some pretty ordinary defenders in to try and make that thing work. And if you take a look at Liverpool's recent form, Andrew Robertson has been found wanting when playing at that left-back position because a lot of right wingers have been able to, you know, sort of cook him and nutmeg him, as it were. So obviously Kieran Tierney's return is very welcome, and both he and Robertson being left backs, you know, they can take turns sort of alternating. The problem is, though, I still have a lot of concerns about whether or not Robertson can really go the distance in that left back position. It was he who scored that magnificent winner against Poland in Warsaw, which relegated Poland and secured Scotland's position as second in the table. And mind you, Scotland could possibly have ended up qualifying in second place and moving into the quarterfinals had, results really gone their way. But, the recovery they had when everything looked, just lost. I think you've got to give credit to the players. Certainly Ben Doak left his mark, but Craig Gordon definitely is one person who deserves a great deal of credit. Now, you're talking about this Greece team, who, of course, beat England at Wembley. And I don't know if I might possibly... I'll have to look up that lineup and so take a look at that formation, because I would like to think that they will probably field something similar to the same team that beat us at Wembley that miserable day when Lee Carsley was the manager. And so if England found it difficult, there is there's every single chance in many ways that Scotland could also suffer. But Scotland do have a lot of wonderful players who are in the midfield, even if in attack they may be a little bit lacking at the moment. I'm just trying to take a look and see if I can find the the lineups and the formation which they used. The Guardian report. Hopefully this will have the formations here. And
well, they got the possible starting lineup. Possible.
Yeah,
one.
so I'm just trying to. Possibly give my ideas here. If you want to have a 3-5-2, it's very important to make sure that you have the best defenders so that you can take advantage of the midfield talent at your disposal. And when you've got talent like Scott McTominay and Billy Gilmour, who are doing very well for Napoli at the moment in Serie A, you can't not play them. And then, of course, you've got a young talent like Lennon Miller, who could also come on as a substitute. Ryan Christie's been magnificent for Bournemouth. And then, of course, you've got the Aston Villa skipper, John McGinn, who's having another good season with the team, even if he's also missed a few games with injury. He's still a very important player for Scotland. Kenny McLean is another one. So at least defensively, Tierney's return offers some promise. So also, I'm just going to again try. I can't, take a look at the. Okay, Greece record historic win over England to hand Lee Carsley. A reality check. I've got this from the Guardian here, and obviously, of course, this was the game where Lee Carsley had his had Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, and Cole Palmer in central areas, and that was just a horrible, horrible night. Not quite as bad as some of the defeats we had under Southgate, but still, it was awful. And I want to try and see if I can find the. For some stupid reason, I can't find the formation or the Greece lineup. But if you can just refresh this, I'm going to give my team selection, which might be a little bit different from what Warren has picked, because reflecting the issues that with Tierney and Robertson. Tierney has actually been used as more of a wingish player these days. He's sort of come on to, add a little bit of dimension in attack. So there is a part of me that's thinking, why not use Tierney as the left wing back and move Robertson more into the centre? That way Robertson won't have to deal with, the problems of right wingers coming at him, and Kieran Tierney also would be better placed to deal with it. He's recovered well from that hamstring injury of his. I'm not too sure that a 4-3 is the way to go, because you don't want to have a light midfield. You've got to pack that midfield. And 4-5-1 would not be an option. A lone striker up front would not really do the business. On occasions, mind you, Scotland have even tried playing McTominay as a false nine. Now, I know he scored a lot of goals for Manchester United before moving to Napoli, but I wouldn't think that would be a prudent strategy here. And if Clark is serious about winning or getting anything from that Greece game, he will play 2 strikers up front. So I'm also going to go for a 3-5-2. There's a part of me that would like to go for a 4-4-2, given how brilliantly it worked against certain countries during the Euro qualifiers. If you recall, Scotland were in a group with Spain and beat Spain at home en route to qualifying as group winners. Since then, we all know what happened to both teams. So in goal, it will be old, reliable Craig Gordon. And as someone who has seen the likes of Jim Leighton and Andy Gorham and others in the interim like Neil Sullivan and others play, Craig Gordon has to be the most talented Scottish goalkeeper I've ever seen play. Still at his age of 42 going on 43, one of the best shot stoppers you will ever see. Now, he does have a few weaknesses in that despite being 6'4", he's not very physically imposing. So he has to exercise great caution when, coming for crosses or corners or what have you. And there have been occasions in the Scottish Premiership when, some players have gotten the better of him. He's been flawless so far in his international return. And I'm very confident that he will do a fine job. He'll be winning his 80th cap in Athens and cap number 81 back at Hampden Park, should things go well. And if he does well in these 2 games, it could very well be that he ends up being the starting goalkeeper for the World Cup qualifiers. And I think he will continue to play for Scotland until he retires from international football. Now, I do have a squad list on Instagram. And thankfully, there are no injuries to the defenders.
No.
So, So there are no injuries to the defenders. I'm going to just take a look at it. But says, I don't know if Harry Souttar is still in the squad though, and he hasn't really had the best of seasons at Leicester City, I think, or has he left Leicester? But I want to try and just see. But left centre back, I'd have Andrew Robertson. I just don't think he'll be up. If Greece, for example, have any really pacey right winger, he could very easily get cooked around that side. So put Andrew Robertson as left centre back. Yes, I've now got the squad. Now, John Souttar, yes, I was thinking Harry Souttar. I got it mixed up. John and Harry are brothers, but one plays for Scotland, the other one plays for Australia. Yeah, so John will occupy the centre. Okay.
Centre, yeah.
And yeah.
That right, yeah.
And on the side, on the right, it's difficult to pick another central defender because the other choices obviously are Grant Hanley and Jack Henry, Ryan Porteous as well with Preston North End, who's been a big part of their FA Cup run. Thinking out loud, would it not be a good idea to have Anthony Ralston in that role of right centre back so that you could have a pacey right winger? And that way, it can sort of evolve into a back 4, if you like, with Tierney moving back a little bit. So yeah, Anthony Ralston at right centre back. And so at left wing back would be Kieran Tierney.
Yep, there we go.
Left central midfielder, John McGinn.
Right, McGinn, right. Where is he? Come on. He should be here somewhere. There he is. Right, got him there. Right.
Okay.
Then.
Right, yeah, bang in the middle. The big unit, the great Scott McTominay, or McSauce as they call him. Scott.
He used to score against us sometimes. Yeah, man. Came on and scored against us sometimes. Hated him in injury time when he was at United.
I understand, mate. I mean, you obviously hate a lot of people who score against you, including some of your former Bs. I'm not going to name them, don't worry.
Yeah. Don't say Ollie Watkins. No, don't say that.
Now, in the centre of midfield on the right-hand side, I would like to see Ryan Christie. He deserves to be rewarded for an excellent season at Bournemouth so far. And that way on the right wing, you can have Billy Gilmore.
Yeah. Oh, Slappy Gilmore, as I call him, yeah. Adam Sandler.
So Gilmore and McTominay are in there from the start. You take advantage of them. And I just think that with Christie in there also, it provides Rolton a little bit more in terms of protection. That way you can have your two strikers, put them anywhere you like. Che Adams, and I actually wouldn't mind seeing... yeah, well, obviously I think Warren went for Tommy Conway, didn't he?
Oh, he went for Nisbet, I believe. Nisbet, Kevin Nisbet.
It's a tough one because I'm actually tempted to give George Hurst his debut, but then that might be a bit too soon for him. So it's going to be between Kevin Nisbet and James Wilson. And I think I'll give it to James Wilson.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good team.
So that's going to be my team. And obviously, you know, if Warren's watching on playback, he might disagree. But I just think that here you've got some good solidity in the midfield, some decent defenders, obviously. Because a lot of people, mind you, have made it clear that they don't like seeing Jack Hendry or Hanley or even Porteous in that team. So you get that kind of solidity. Robertson being right at the back means that he can command his defense a lot more, and Tierney will be used up and down the wing. Now, I'll just be right back, but you can offer your opinions on this. And I know what you're thinking. Aaron Hickey should be in that team, but sadly, I'm sorry, mate, the poor bloke's injured.
No, he'll be back for us, though, afterwards, apparently. He's coming back after the international break. So, there we go. We'll have Aaron Hickey back. Scotland won't have him, but we'll have him, thankfully. So, you know, enhance us more. Build our squad up more again, which is great. I'd have had either of those two because I'm going by obviously what Warren said and Manny. I think either of those two teams look good enough. If they can come away with something, I think, you know, you'd say Greece are the slight favourites here. You would think probably Greece are the favourites, but in a way. But I think if somehow Scotland got a 1-1, a 2-1, or something, or lost 2-1, they're still in the tie because it's you know, obviously two legs. And then they get back at obviously Hampden, and if they're still within a goal or just a 1-1 or lose 2-1 or something like that, they're still in the tie, and they just got to go back to Hampden. And yeah, I think they'd beat them at Hampden, but Greece are slippery. You know, everyone knew that joke was coming. Could say Greece is the word, and they're electrifying, and that's it basically. But yeah. But anyway, I'll move on because I'm going to go on to the next one, which is going to be Bulgaria and Republic of Ireland, because they're also playing. Of course, they're Nations League first leg as well. And I've got this one, which is obviously the preview and stuff here. So I'll just go to that in a minute. And I think is it on there? Yeah, I've got it on there. Right. So I'll go through this quickly and then bring Manny back to talk about it. And I think we'll get the timer going as well. We'll start that going. But also I'll go through this. Anyway, Bulgaria versus Republic of Ireland. Prediction, expected lineups, how to watch and stats, obviously. Bulgaria versus Republic of Ireland. The Republic of Ireland will look to preserve their Group B status when they visit Group C challengers Bulgaria in the first of a two-legged Nations League playoff on Thursday. The hosts were battered 5-0 by Ireland's neighbour, Northern Ireland, in the group phase, a result which ultimately ended their automatic promotion hopes and set up this tie. Bulgarian revolutionary Hristo Botev must have been a very special man, for his countrymen named not one, not two, not three, but 4 football stadiums after him. Stadion Hristo Botev is by far the prettiest of them all, and it has the nicest pitch. So it's excellent news for Ireland that it'll play host to Thursday's Nations League clash. Anyone lucky enough to be born in this century will know nothing of Bulgaria as a footballing force, as they featured in one major tournament since 1994. I remember 94, likes of Stoichkov and so forth. Brilliant. Berbatov, of course, can't forget him. But more than they just exported wheat and hairy men in leotards, lifting terrifying amounts of weight. They produced some stunning ballers over the years, like Risto Stoichkov, who I just mentioned, of course. Stoichkov, a man so good they named his twice, and Man United cult hero Dimitar Berbatov. Stoichkov scored over 200 career goals, including 6 at the 1994 World Cup to land the golden shoe. Bulgaria finishing fourth was a factor as he bagged the Ballon d'Or. Talking of prolific strikers with great names, Troy Parrott is among the Irish players hoping to build on a positive domestic season. If he wins some, it could be pieces of 8 for him, and they call him a very pretty boy, wouldn't they? For winning all that, Troy Parrott. And he could repeat it, couldn't he? Yeah, Parrott. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Manny will have a few jokes about it as well when I bring him back. Anyway, however, it's been defenders that have played the starring role in the Nations League, with one scoring in 5 of the last 7 matches the Republic have scored in. Standing tall in either box may just be enough to win against a physical side, and history suggests this is the sort of game the visitors can excel in. Bulgaria team news. Goalkeeper Dimitar Mitov has conceded 6 goals in 6 Nations League fixtures, so surely starts ahead of 3 others. The defence may be unchanged from the 1-1 draw with Belarus, meaning Viktor Popov might just pop off the pitch, who knows? But anyway, Simeon Petrov, Alex Petkov, and Darmstadt fullback Fabian Nürnberger in the back 4. And Andrian Krajev has performed reasonably well in Liga Portugal and could edge out Leeds United midfielder Ilya Gruev in the holding role. Bulgarian Footballer of the Year Kirill Despodov is Bulgaria's prolific joint top scorer with 1 goal alongside Krajev and Vasil Panyatov. Bulgaria expected lineup: Mitov, Popov, Petrov, S. Petrov, A. Petrov, brothers obviously, Nürnberger, Panyatov, Krajev, Milanov, M. Petkov, Kolev, and Kirillov. Republic of Ireland team news. Gavin Bazuna's return to full fitness gives Jaime Hallgrimsson options between the sticks, though it's hard to imagine he replaces Liverpool stopper Kyan Kelleher. Will Smallbone's withdrawal from the squad opened the door for Southampton teammate Ryan Manning to receive a late call-up. Ireland needs to find a long-term solution at left back, and while Robbie Brady is an option, Callum O'Dowda is enjoying a good season on the left side for Cardiff City. Jake O'Brien, Josh Cullen and Liam Knight should get the chance to build upon their good club form. There's a choice to be made in attack, with Evan Ferguson still scratching around for form since his move to West Ham, but he could get the nod to partner Troy Parrott. Yeah, he could still get the nod to partner Troy Parrott. There are first call-ups for James Abankwa, Rocco Vasa, Jimmy Dunn, and Mark Sykes. One of 3 Bristol City players in the squad. I'm sure Harry would like that. Be interested in that. Obviously, Bristol supporter. Honeygun, of course. I'm sure he'd be happy with that. Anyway, Republic of Ireland expected lineup: Kelleher, Doherty, O'Brien, Collins. Well, the Bees, of course. Nathan Collins, great player. Had a brilliant season for us so far. Been immense, incredible. He's playing there, of course. O'Dowda, Ebasele, Cullen, Knight, Schmodix, Parrott, and Ferguson. And so that's the predicted lineup there. We'll bring Manny on and see what he thinks of it all. yeah, the match will be shown on free-to-air RTE and online via the RTE player for viewers based in Ireland. Well, obviously I'm not in Ireland, but it'd be on TNT, I would think, or Sky. Possibly, I would say, if not YouTube. They generally show them now on YouTube. So, yeah, anyway, Bulgaria versus Republic of Ireland stats. Neither side has ever won away from home in the history of this fixture. Bulgaria have won just 4 of their previous 21 Nations League matches. Iran, Lithuania and Montenegro were the last 3 teams to win in Bulgaria. Ireland are unbeaten in 7 meetings since the late 80s, 2 of which they won. Ireland's only away win in the Nations League came against Finland 2-1 in October. Heimir Hallgrimsson, Republic of Ireland, quotes, on accusations that League of Ireland players need to leave ROI to receive a call-up. My English isn't perfect, but if I said it in a wrong way, I'm sorry for that. That's absolutely not my feeling. If you look at my past as a national team coach, I have regularly taken domestic players, whether it was the Iceland players or the Jamaica players from the domestic leagues, just to shake the boat a little bit and to show respect to the league, especially when you do as well as Shamrock Rovers, then for sure you are playing at the level that we compare with other players. On playing new players, we selected everyone with that in mind. We think they are ready to play, even though we think they are players who will be good in the future. We don't select unless we think he can play. That's how I see it. I will trust all the players to play on Jake O'Brien and the threat he brings. That's generalising, but it is why he has been really impressive, and also going forward. He has been really, really good going forward if you have seen his matches. Scored against us, of course, the Bees. Another one scored against us, Jake O'Brien, for Everton. Yeah, go figure. That has been impressive, of course, and of course, when you have a guy like this on the far post in the box, it's difficult to defend when you have a player with his attributes in the box. That's a big advantage. Bulgaria versus Republic of Ireland referee stats. Elite referee and Man United fan, pure speculation. Benoit Bastien spent 90 minutes pointing to the penalty spot at Old Trafford recently, losing the plot and brandishing 9 cards in the relatively clean game. The Frenchman is more likely to point to the spot than the vast majority of top UEFA officials, awarding 0.68 penalties per game this season. He resisted the urge to point to the spot during his only previous Nations League assignment this term, a routine 2-0 win for Czech Republic against Albania. Benoit is awarding 23.82 fouls and showing 4.32 cards per game. Bulgaria versus Republic of Ireland prediction. Pay no attention to the fact that Ireland won just 2 of their 6 Nations League matches, as Greece and England are a steep step up from Bulgaria. It's not been a successful few years for the Irish, but it's worth noting the level of opposition they've consistently been pitted against while managing to remain relatively competitive. Bulgaria's only wins in 11 matches on home soil came against Northern Ireland 1-0 and Gibraltar 5-1. So no one is going to convince us that the visitors should be odds against. These sides played out 2 low-scoring draws when they last met in 2020, though we would argue that Hallgrimsson's side boasts more quality these days, with plenty of Premier League experience. Above all, they'll need to match the atmosphere and physicality of their hosts, but we believe they're well built in that department, should be able to dominate in both boxes. Right, well, I'll get Manny on and see what he thinks of all that. What he'd go for, and obviously I will put the timer on, and we get into it. So, Manny, what do you make of all that? I'm going to put the timer on, mate, by the way, so you're up against that, mate, all right?
Yeah, so that's perfect. The thing is, if Kev Flavin is still in the chat, I think he probably would offer a better analysis than maybe I possibly could, or even our own Del Boy. What's the crack? What's the bleeding story? But yeah. I think Kev pretty much hit the nail on the head there in the chat when he said that it has been a good year for Ireland, as you pretty much said, and it's And a lot of people have become pretty much bored of following them in a way, which shouldn't be the case. Yeah, if they manage to qualify for the World Cup, it will be a bit of a surprise, says Kev. And that's it's a sad indictment because obviously I remember Ireland really punching above their weight from well back in the day. You know, Euro '88, that was probably before my time, but Italia '90 was when they really came into their own, and then USA '94 and Japan and Korea 2002. Then they qualified for a couple of other Euros in 2012 and 2016, but it's not been easy going for them ever since Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane left their jobs.
Yeah.
And Mick McCarthy should never have been decided for Stephen Kenny. Now, I've heard some of the players you've mentioned, and there is no doubt that there is a wonderful array of talent in that Irish squad. And there are a lot of players as well, you know, a couple of Nigerian players, I think, Ogbene and Michael Obafemi being another one who was pretty big back in a few years ago. I don't know why they're not being used. Of course, no James McLean means that there will be no controversy, but he obviously did a huge job for Ireland over the years at left back. I think Robbie Brady, as has been mentioned, is still doing a very good job. Preston is still proving that he can be more than capable, but obviously there is no Jeff Hendrick. I mean, he's also been given his P45, I think. So obviously they're trying to move on with a somewhat younger base, and with Nathan Collins as captain, they're moving forward. Still no Gavin Bazunu, I think, but Caoimhin Kelleher has certainly proven to be reliable, even if he is still a slightly error-prone goalkeeper. And then, of course, Matt Doherty from Wolves is another one who adds a lot of experience and versatility. He can play as, right centre-back or right wing-back, and really done a great deal. And so this should be, on paper, a reasonably easy fixture, but as Dell and others will tell you, the Irish hardly ever do things the easy way. I think you can say that about a lot of the British-based teams, to be quite frank. And I just think, obviously, that Ireland can go into this with slightly higher expectations, because obviously England were a step above them in many ways, and they certainly proved themselves to be too good for Finland, which was a welcome surprise in my opinion. And if they can just beat Bulgaria and maintain their spot in Group B Nations League, I think they can take a little bit of confidence with them and try and take that into next season, try and build from there. But this group of players needs to be given a little bit more in terms of confidence. I think they should be. For the first leg, which I think will be played in Sofia, I'm confident enough to predict a 2-1 away win for Ireland. So they will concede a goal, but I think they will have enough goals in to eke out a slight win. And I forgot to give my prediction for Scotland against Greece. Obviously, Greece have got Vangelis Pavlidis, who will be leading his Chariots of Fire. He was the one who scored twice against us at Wembley. They do have some other very useful players who well in the Greek league and also elsewhere around Europe. Lakodimos is their number one. He's been rotting to death on at Newcastle. I'd like to think that he's been sent out on to get a few games, I think. But he could also prove to be important. And Scotland could fancy themselves getting something out of their trip to Athens. I think it might end up as a 1-1. But if they get a win, and I'll be hoping they get a win, it'll be a very big bonus. But as far as Ireland are concerned, they should get a 2-1 win. And I think, they're going to relish, playing in Athens. And that youngster, Troy Parrott, will probably have a role to play off the bench. I remember watching him against Spurs playing for AZ Alkmaar. Obviously, he is a former Spurs youth player. So our Spurs friends will know about him too well. And he will certainly be one person who could play a role off the bench. But then, of course, you've got Smodics, you've got Ferguson. You do have an array of talent up front. The midfield looks decent. Hope they can get their defence in order. But I'm confident of a 2-1 away win in Sofia. And hopefully Guinness will start flowing off.
I'm sure it will either way, Manny, to be honest with him, with the Irish, wouldn't it? They love their Guinness either way. They drink it if they celebrate, they drink it if they don't, to drown their sorrows. So, but yeah, I mean, it's only the first leg. I think they come away, say that if they lose 2-1 or something, or even just 1-0, 2-0, they're still in the tie. It's not a massive thing to overcome. But I don't think Bulgaria have been that amazing. I remember them from years ago, obviously 90s, when you had Stoichkov and everything, brilliant, Lechkov and whatever, so forth. Of course, Berbatov, as we all know, great players they've had. But, I don't think they're quite the team they used to be. And I think Republic of Ireland should probably get a result here, I would say. I would think at least I'm going to go for a 2-1 Republic of Ireland here. I think that should be it, because I think got a very tight defence with Collins there, of course. One of our great players that has been immense this season. I've got to mention him because he has been brilliant. For the Bees, I was going to say he hasn't been quite so for the Republic of Ireland, but I think especially against us, he's been a bit poor against England. But no, I think he's been incredible for us, and I think he will do well for Ireland as well, to be honest. So, I think a 2-1 Republic of Ireland for me for this one, and hopefully they go through. Got the second leg to come. They could hold on to it back at where is it? They play Lansdowne Road. Is it Lansdowne, or is it? No, it's different now, isn't it? Trying to think their home one now. Where do they play? Trying to think. Hold on a minute, guys. I'm just having a look. I can't remember. Republic of Ireland. Hold on a minute. Trying to think of their home ground. Should know it, really. It's the Aviva Stadium, Dublin. Aviva now. Sure, it used to be Lansdowne Road at one stage, but it's the Aviva Stadium. The Aviva. It's all different, yeah. I do remember Lansdowne Road, but yeah, that's obviously gone. Well, it is the same stadium, but they just called it that. But I'll move on, and obviously we got Wales one. Wales versus Kazakhstan, the World Cup qualifier. Obviously, I'm doing this, then of course the England game will be last, and that's going to be very interesting to talk about that one. But let's get into this one, and I'll just bring the article up. It's coming. Here we go, and here it is, and it's also the preview and prediction for the game, and just get rid of that bit. Right, Wales had an excellent UEFA Nations League campaign, and the Craig Bellamy era is off to a brilliant start as they now take on Kazakhstan at the Cardiff City Stadium this week. Of course, here's how to watch it. BBC Wales, US not televised. How to watch, online, UK, BBC iPlayer, US Fox Soccer Plus. Well, I probably will watch it on iPlayer, or then again I might watch it on YouTube, wherever I get the actual English commentary, not the Welsh. Because I get the Welsh commentary, but I can get the subtitles. I'm not fluent in Welsh, unfortunately. Right, anyway, the key stats. This is the first international match between these teams. Wales have only lost 2 of their last 22 World Cup qualifying matches, won 11, drawn 9. With no defeats in the last 9, won 6, drawn 3. Wales are unbeaten in their last 6 World Cup qualifying matches in Wales, won 4, drawn 2. Excluding penalty shootouts, Wales have lost only 1 of their last 16 international matches, won 7, drawn 8. Kazakhstan are without a win in their last 21 World Cup qualifying matches, drawn 7, lost 14. Last victory was 6 of the 9th, 2013, that long ago. 2-1 at home versus Faroe Islands. So you would think Wales should win this one. Looking at that, surely they should be winning this game. no doubts. Craig Bellamy took charge of Wales last summer following the departure of Rob Page, and the former Liverpool forward is now tasked with getting them back-to-back FIFA World Cup qualifications for the first time after their appearances in 1958 and 2022. Welsh managed to overcome Turkey on the final day of the League B of the 24-25 UEFA Nations League, and an automatic promotion to the top flight of European international football once again. Their performances were consistently strong and results improved, finishing off with a 4-1 demolition of Iceland at the Cardiff City Stadium. They face a Kazakhstan side that are one of a number of sides that have been much improved in terms of attacking cohesion. Perhaps as a result of the UEFA Nations League, they reached League B of the UEFA Nations League, but were immediately automatically relegated from a tough group, taking 1 point from games against Norway, Austria and Slovenia. Wales will look once again for a fast start in front of their buoyant crowd on a Saturday evening in the capital, and a strong start to FIFA World Cup qualification is to be expected for the hosts. Wales to win, -1 handicap, it's saying here, I think. -1. That's the tip. Hasn't actually given a score. I would probably go for, I'm sure they should win this. Looking at these stats, Kazakhstan are pretty poor. When did it say 2013 was their last without winning the last 21 World Cup qualifying matches, and it was 2013. So this should be straightforward for Wales. I'm going to go 3-0 Wales for this. I'll bring Manny back and see what he thinks about it. Seems a bit of a straightforward one for me, but I'll bring him back and we'll see what he thinks. But seems straightforward. But obviously I will bring the timer on as well. I'll just put that on, and he can go through what he thinks, give his opinion on it and everything, summary of it and so forth. I'll just bring this timer on. Hold on a minute, it's going a bit slow now. The Wi-Fi, but I'm bringing it on, and bring Manny on first. And obviously hearing all that, pretty much straightforward for Wales, you would think, this game.
Yep, so straightforward that you probably wouldn't even need to have the timer. I share your prediction of 3 goals, but I do think I'd
go for it. Yeah, but
and
just say go through the Wales team or whatever, who you think who standouts are and whatever for the Wales, because they didn't really mention the Wales team here. But I think you got
obviously one
Wilson and
would normally be Aaron.
Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah, one of the big standouts. Yeah, Aaron Ramsey would normally be a standout, but that poor bloke is injured. So with him out, probably be the likes of David Brooks and a few others who will be expected to try and lead the line. Others, obviously, Neco Williams with Nottingham Forest, Brennan Johnson with Tottenham Hotspur, Ben Davies also with Spurs. Carl Darlow will probably be expected to start in goal because Danny Ward has not had any playing time with Leicester City. And although Wayne Hennessy, the 109 times capped goalkeeper, has come back into some sort of action by being named on the Forest bench, I don't think Bellamy plans to call him back, but he is hopeful that maybe Hennessy could possibly become a coach of sorts. But you never know what can happen with this Wales team with regard to injuries and so forth. Someone like Kiefer Moore of formerly Bournemouth, but who has since moved elsewhere. I believe he's at Sheffield United now, so he could find a way back into the Premiership if the Blades get promoted. And there is quite a little bit of talent in that Wales squad. I think one of the reasons why Robert Page was sacked was because he just wasn't able to get the young players to really shine and do a lot more. And the chemistry was just lacking, but maybe Bellamy's brought some of that back. But Ramsey's still going to be a big miss. The only reason why we're confident of a win is because, there's nothing much to write home about Kazakhstan, really, and they're traveling to Cardiff, an imposing atmosphere with Mahen Ladfi Nadal being sung. That is really intimidating. And I know you're part Welsh, Steve, so I am sorry if I've gotten the pronunciation wrong. But
I don't know. I'm not that great with it either, Manny. I'm not great with it either, actually. I am only part Welsh, so therefore I'm not an expert. So,
Yeah, and you made it crystal clear that you didn't listen to the Welsh commentary. You'd sooner have the English one. I think if I can get some time, I probably might keep an eye on that. But I'm confident about this one. I'm probably going to focus a lot more on the Scottish game and possibly the Irish game. But this one really has a 3-goal win written all over it. I think it'll be Wales 3, Kazakhstan 1, because I think Kazakhstan might still catch that Welsh defence cold a bit. But this should be easy. I don't even know why we're really discussing this. The issue is Bellamy has got to make sure he takes that momentum, because the problem is with Wales over the years, they've always had moments where it could be broken. They just failed to qualify for the Euros, missing out to, I think it was Poland on a penalty shootout. So they're going to be very eager to try and avoid a similar sort of upset. But they couldn't have asked for an easier start, really.
Yeah, so what score are you going for then, Manny?
3-1. I know you've gone for 3-0, but 3-1 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think 3-0. I can't see him conceding, to be honest, Wales. This team have only got, I think when they was in one group, they only managed 1 point in the group. So, no. I just can't see them doing anything. I think Wales will have this easy, 3-0. I think, it'd be a day off for their defence, really, for this game and their goalies. So, it's going to be pretty easy for the Welsh, really. And I don't know who else is in there. I can't remember who else is in their group, but obviously we will go into that next week at some stage, because obviously I'll do the buzz again. And we're going to obviously the second legs of the Nation League games and all that. So, we will chat about that a bit more anyway. And see what we think will happen in the second legs and stuff. So, but obviously we're going to go on to the real big one now. And that's this one, Manny. England versus Albania. The World Cup qualifier. And
yep,
I've got my thoughts about it, but I'm going to go with you first, as you're my guest, and I want to hear what you got to think and say about this. What you think will happen? Who's going to be in this team? Who's the first team, of course, that he's picking? What's going to happen? And then I'll have my say about it. Okay, mate.
Well, I do remember, obviously, last time around giving you my choice of players. A 3-4-3 formation with Lewis Skelly at left wing back, which meant that he probably wouldn't be expected to do too much in terms of defensive duties. But if he ends up, having to track back more often than not, then he could be in trouble. And that's only because I really can't see anyone else, being selected to start in that position. There was, of course, an article on BBC Sport where Jordan Pickford praised the decision to recall Jordan Henderson, and I think it's fair to say that once you read that article, you understand why I understand why you refer to him as Pickford. And but again, as I've said, the only reason why Henderson was brought back was because the other younger options are all injured or just haven't really played very much, and obviously Calvin Phillips has how his star has fallen so badly that you wonder if he'll be able to pick it up again. So I see it as more of a stopgap action. But for what it's worth, Hendo's Ajax team have been doing well in the Eredivisie, and they're of course 6 points clear, and they are set to win. And that's not small potatoes, you know. So I think he's back in some form, and maybe he will add something to the squad. But I really don't see him starting if Tuchel opts for a 3-4-3 formation, because if you've got Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham, you can't have three central midfielders in that four-man midfield unless he plans to play a 3-5-2, which would be absolute madness, really. His 3-4-3 formation is something that, you know, he's used, it's tried and trusted, and it usually brings results. So Tommy Tuchel is not Steve Clark, let me tell you that. And he's not going to start with two up front. Having said that, I wouldn't mind seeing him start with two up front, because that way, you know, Kane can sort of share the burden. The only problem is, if you were to start with two up front, who would be alongside him? Would it be Rashford? Would it be Solanke? Would it be Gordon? You know, there are just so many questions there. If you were to start with a two-man strike force, then it probably would be Kane and Rashford, because, of course, they've combined together well in the past. That way you can have three central midfielders, have Rice and Henderson and Bellingham working their magic with two wing backs and three centre backs. But I don't think that's what Tuchel's going to do. Now, I think Tuchel is a sound appointment, and I don't really share Warren's misgivings. And there is, of course, an interesting article about, you know, this possibility of this being England's most exciting generation still to emerge. Obviously, there's no Ethan Nwaneri, but Miles Lewis-Skelly is there, and it's basically talking about the England under-21 squads that won the Euros in 2023 under Carsley, and of course Gibbs White from that squad is there. But quite a few people have sort of fallen away from that in many ways. I don't want to go too far into that. I just think that now, of course, with Morgan Gibbs White in the squad, there will be a lot more options in terms of, you know, having some attacking options. I think the 3-4-3 is what Tuchel would normally like to do, but there's no way that he can just afford to start with both Rice and Bellingham and have two wing backs and then not be able to use the likes of Morgan Rogers or Morgan Gibbs White at any point in time given these matches. What I would preferably like to see him do is become more flexible, use a back four. So if he were to play a 4-2-3-1, he could, you know, start with Lewis-Skelly and, for heaven's sake, I completely forgot. Andries James as the fullbacks with two central defenders, and then the double defensive midfield pivot with Rice and someone else. I just don't know if I have the time to, you know, sort of look at that squad and form that team. But all I can say is that with the talent he's got in the midfield, it will behoove him well to make sure he brings them on at a certain point in time. He can possibly have Morgan Rogers maybe playing on the right wing as a replacement for Jared Bowen. He can even bring Morgan Gibbs White on for that very reason. And there are so many options that Tuchel now has. I just hope that if he uses the 3-3 formation, he won't be limited in that result, in that sense of the word. But I really can't see any problems coming from this match against Albania. And obviously, our good friend Orest will be, you know, rooting for Albania to get something from the game. But I don't think he will. And of course, Albania will have your ex-goalkeeper Strakosha playing for them. I'm not too sure what you'll be thinking. Maybe you'll want England to show no mercy, given that he left. He buzzed off from your hive, didn't he?
I don't think he had much choice in the end of the day. He weren't going to get many games there, Manny. That's the problem. Because we're going to keep playing Flecken all the frigging time. So that's the reason that he had to go, unfortunately. And we're not going to have the other guy, Inge Marson, playing either. He's not going to play. Our other goalie, Valdemarson, sorry. He's not going to play. So I don't know what the point of it is. Point of him having him. Because all we're going to do is play Flecken. And it's bloody nightmare, mate, to be honest. Disaster. Shit show. But there we go. But anyway, getting back to this, and I've got an article here, and I'm just going to put this banner up. I know you'll laugh at this, Manny, but that's what I think. Tuchel, German Southgate. But anyway, I'm going to bring this other article up here, regarding Jordan Henderson and all that. So I'm going to just bring that up now. And this is obviously what Gary Lineker has said. So I know what you think of probably Gary Lineker, but we'll just bring this up. He's suggesting he's there for a new role and not actually as a player. And I'll bring this up. Here we go. Gary Lineker suggests new Jordan Henderson role for England after odd call-up. It is odd. Very odd. 36-year-old, 34, whatever. Who hasn't played for so many years. What was it, 2023? 22, last time he played? Why is he all of a sudden back in the England squad? He was out in the cold. Why is he suddenly brought back? Gary Lineker reckons a new role could be on the cards for Jordan Henderson following his surprise England call-up. The Ajax midfielder, 34, hasn't featured for the Three Lions since 2023. Yeah. So his inclusion in Thomas Tuchel's inaugural squad raised eyebrows and sparked criticism. Speaking on the Rest is Football podcast, Lineker suggested that Henderson might suit being part of the Germans' coaching staff and that his long-term England future could well be in the dugout instead. Include him in your coaching staff, maybe, the 54-year-old said in response to Micah Richards and Alan Shearer questioning Henderson's call-up, as I was questioning it. He added, it's an odd one. I feel a little bit bad for Jordan because it's very important to say that he's played many really great games for England. He's had a fabulous career and because of circumstances, moving to Saudi didn't happen there. Tuchel, has kind of reopened that can of worms for Jordan. You don't want him to end up as a player who's disrespected. That would be a real shame, but there's a perception that it's almost semi-retirement when you move to leagues like Saudi Arabia's league. So I think that possibly explains the criticism. But I think it'll be a great shame. He's a really good guy to have around, and that's probably why Thomas Tuchel has put him in. What? Just because of that? No, you can't. Because he's obviously very popular. But so what? It's what he does on the pitch. I'd imagine amongst the players. So what? Richards agreed, but argued that if Henderson wasn't likely to be part of Tuchel's 2026 World Cup plans, then calling him up was needless. That's all well and good, the ex-Manchester City star replied, but is he going to be available for the World Cup? If someone else is going to be in that position around that time, it's like, are you going to get Henderson in the same shape as he is now? I just think it's an opportunity to get a younger player a bit of experience. Yes. Thank you, Micah. I actually agree with you on something there. Tuchel offered a little insight into his decision to pick Henderson when speaking to reporters following the squad announcement. He branded the former Liverpool skipper a serial winner and insisted he embodies everything we want in a player. He's captain of Ajax at the moment. He's played a lot of matches, and what he brings to every team is leadership, character, personality, energy. The ex-Chelsea and Bayern Munich boss said, he ensures that everyone lives by these standards, and with these characteristics, he embodies everything that we're trying to build. We're trying to build a team that our fans will be proud of and will hopefully be an exciting watch. He embodies everything that we want. England play Albania at Wembley on Friday in the first of 10 upcoming World Cup qualifiers before facing Latvia in London 3 days later. The pressure will be on Tuchel to hit the ground running as England boss, particularly with his contract expiring next year. It's this short-term approach, Shearer reckons, that's led to the likes of Henderson and 34-year-old Kyle Walker being picked. Tuchel is going to pick a squad for the up-and-coming games, and he'll do that right the way through to the World Cup, Shearer told his podcast colleagues. He doesn't give a damn about what happens to England after 18 months' time. He's only interested in trying to win the World Cup for England. That's his job. That's his contract. His mindset is he's picking a squad for this month, but how can he win it with some of them players? No. For these games, and if he has to change it next month, then he'll do that. But will he? Not sure. that squad that came out is not going to be the squad that goes to the World Cup. So why is he playing them? And I think he understands that as well. He's an experienced guy. Yeah. Henderson and Walker wasn't the only surprise inclusions in Tuchel's squad. Marcus Rashford returned to the fold following his bright start on loan at Aston Villa, while Newcastle's Carabao Cup final hero Dan Burn was handed his very first call up. He was great in that final the other day, by the way. Carabao Cup, brilliant. Reece James, who has made just one international appearance since 2022, has also been included. The 25-year-old has struggled with persistent injuries in recent years, but was a key figure under Tuchel at Chelsea. An influence that has likely secured him a spot in the side, despite his limited playing time this season. Well, I don't know, mate, with this. I think it's Max of, well, I'm going to say he's the German Southgate. I think he is. You know, they're going on there about this squad. He's not going to be the squad in the World Cup. It won't be. So why is he playing them now? And not giving these youngsters experience? So I say, should be doing. I'll put the under-21 squad up in a little bit. I've got the article there. And it shows you the quality of players that we've got there. And they should actually be playing right now. Because they're on the hot form, as it is as well, for their clubs. And this guy is ignoring them. He's a German Southgate. I will keep saying it. And I know you're gonna defend this guy, Manny. I know you are. I'm gonna bring you back on soon. But what I want out of this, right? If he's going to play these, he's going to have this, say, right, if he does pick Henderson there and everything, Walker, whatever else, right, I want a very big, substantial win from both games. And good play, entertaining play, good performances. I would expect at least, right, Albania are probably the better out of the two, right? They was in that, was it the last World Cup, I believe, or whatever. And, they were decent. Yeah, they didn't get out of the group. I don't think. Did they get out of the group? I can't remember. But I know they were decent. They were a decent team. Probably better than Latvia. But they are a very large class team, large strength team. And we should beat these lot easily. I want at least a 3 or 4-0. It's got to be a 3 or 4-0. No conceding a goal. We've got to play really well and really put on a performance. Or otherwise, as well, if we don't beat Latvia 4 or 5-0 and put on a great performance, I'm going to go for this guy big time. I'm going to do like you say at the moment. I'm going to give him some leeway. Going to cut him a little bit of slack. But if something doesn't go right with these, if we're struggling to score goals against the likes of these, Albania and Latvia, I'm going to go for him. I'm not going to hold back, Manny. And I'm going to have you back on there saying that you're wrong. You're going to defend this guy. But if it all goes tits up, which it could do, I want you back on here saying, admitting you're wrong and going into it and saying what should have happened. I think the only good thing recently has happened that we got Gibbs White in because of Cole Palmer going out. And I would actually play him here, but he won't. He probably won't play Gibbs White. He might put him on as a sub, maybe for a few minutes. I'd have him playing all day long against this type of opposition. And you've got to have these younger players playing. But I'm going to bring you on, Manny, and you can have the timer, mate, and I want to hear your reply and what your opinion again. Because I know you're going to go against me here again. I know you are. But anyway, mate, go for it.
Steve,
right? Bringing you on.
Steve, if you honestly think that I'm going to defend...
Are you, or not? Are you defending him?
I'm just going to say this right now. If you honestly think that I'm going to defend every single thing that Tommy does, you've cut me to the quick. I mean, look, Tuchel isn't perfect, and as Warren mentioned, he had his he had a pretty poor season at Bayern Munich, and I was actually thinking that might have, blotted his copybook to the point of people saying that maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to bring him in. And I would say that, look, for what it's worth, we do have a big squad, and we do have these 2 games against opposition that, as you say, are not really, as great as other people would make them out to be. I think Albania actually played in the Euros, and they didn't do too badly at all. In fact, it was your keepers to actually have their tournaments, but Albania just weren't able to get out of that group. They are a lot better than Latvia. I completely agree. And so, what I think would happen is that Tuchel will probably play 2 different teams against these this opposition. One different team for Albania, the other team for Latvia. So there will be some changes. Again, as I said, I don't know if he's going to stick to his tried and trusted 3-4-3, or whether he will adopt a back 4 with a defensive midfield pivot and a double defensive midfield pivot and 2 wingers, a number 10, and a lone striker. He would obviously like to play maybe 2 strikers if he could. I think he used Harry Kane as a lone striker at Bayern Munich, and then Thomas Muller came on as a substitute. Look, I just think that he will definitely want to run the rule on as many members of his squad as possible, and he has to give everyone a fair crack of the whip. And as I've said, the main reason why Henderson is in the squad is because the other options are just not available right now. There's no Manu, there's no Adam Wharton, there's no Calvin. So you've got a bloke who has 80-odd caps, who's still playing quite well for a team in Europe, and that team is top of the Dutch league, not small potatoes. You bring him back in and just see how well he can handle the pace, and if he is more than capable of handling the pace. I mean, look, when it comes to football, I always say that age is but a number. And one of the things I was talking about was how Craig Gordon made a miraculous comeback in the Scotland team. He's in his 40s, mind you. I mean, granted, goalkeepers do tend to play until they're 40 anyway, or even beyond. But it just goes to show that the adage, if you're good enough, you're old enough, can also apply in the reverse case. As long as you are still good, you are definitely young enough. And let's just say that for what it's worth, with this season almost get over, there will be more season pretty much determined who will be in the squad for World Cup. And if Henderson does manage to maintain this performance a lot better than the younger options available, then, you have to give him his credit and say that he deserves his place back in the squad, as does Craig Gordon with Scotland. So I understand how angry you and oh God, wanting to sort of bring some younger players in. But again, I would actually go so far to say that bringing younger players in willy-nilly will be the worst sign of disrespecting your opposition, because it's not like you're playing in the meaningless friendly. This is a World Cup qualification thing, and we've always had a good record of qualifying for these major tournaments. I mean, that's pretty much easy, something that we take for granted. But still, it's his first game, and Tuchel has to be given the opportunity to run the rule over the players he picks. And he's obviously made it clear that Jack Grealish is definitely not part of his plans, but the Grealish has to, step himself up and start getting back to the level that he was earlier under Southgate before being dropped. And of course, Carsley did pick him for the Nations League, and Grealish did very well. But Tuchel has to have the opportunity to take a look at all his players. And if some players are still doing very well and can still add something, you don't just sign them for the scrap heap willy-nilly. I mean, in some countries they're willing to do that because they do want to give youngsters a chance. But it's a big leap. Sometimes you have to be a little bit prudent when making those decisions. As I said, for what it's worth, if Manu and Wharton and company were not injured, they'd be in this squad and Henderson wouldn't be back in the picture. But you have to support the manager's picks for now. And if things don't go well, then by all means, let's pile into him and his selections. We gave We read Lee Carsley the Riot Act after we lost to Greece at home, didn't we? So he has to be given a chance. He has to be given the benefit of doubt. And that's all I'm asking. I'm also as concerned with our progress and our performance as you and everyone else is, but let's just let's calm ourselves down and give the manager a chance. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I'm not so sure, Manny. I just think this is so wrong what he's done here. You know, I'll go back to what Michael Richards said there. If you're not going to play this lot in the World Cup, they're not going to be playing. Walker, Henderson, and all that are not going to play in the World Cup. So why are they there? Why are they there? You give the youngsters that are coming into it, are playing well for their teams, their clubs, and they're in the under-21 squad. Most of them. So why are they not in the senior team? It just doesn't make sense. I've had enough of it, man. It's not right.
But Steve, here's the thing. With our cricket team, we've got a similar issue right now, if you recall. Obviously, after we, bombed out of the Champions Trophy, Jos Buttler resigned as England captain. And there's still some talk about who should be the new captain. That idiot, bloviating fool, Rob Key, has said that Ben Stokes shouldn't be ignored. I'm sorry, but his time is pretty much gone. And there's still talk about Harry Brook being given the captaincy, despite being one of our biggest culprits. One of the things which I say to you is, English sport should not make be too gung-ho about building up towards major tournaments and taking a look and going from there. One thing which I always say is that I'm sick to my stomach of picking youngsters willy-nilly for the sake of building for the future. And if they're unable to, rise to the challenge and do well enough, we end up slating them and saying that they're not ready. Do you really want to see that happening to these players? One certain player, and I will just be brief and, come right back. I think I remember seeing, some of these names, obviously, I recognize Rico Lewis, Taylor Howard Bellis, Anderson with Nottingham Forest, Jude's brother, Dobie. Jamie Gittins is with Dortmund, Archie Gray with Tottenham. I've heard that name. He's Lee Wharton, Liam Delap, Harvey Elliott, Omari Hutchinson, and Ethan Waneri, and Jaden Philogene, who's moved to Ipswich from Aston Villa. But some of these players still have to prove themselves at the under-21 level, and they still also have to do well for their clubs. So throwing them into the senior lineup because you just want to give them a chance would not really be the best way forward. So until a certain time when, the time is right to put them in and the situation demands that they be brought in, you've got to let these youngsters develop their game. And that's another reason why we shouldn't really be so gung-ho about wanting to develop youngsters when, quite frankly, the youngsters are not really proving themselves to be ready as of yet. If there are some outstanding youngsters we have who would benefit from a call-up, then I'd say throw them in. You take a look at Emil Smith-Rowe, for instance. That chap was an under-21 star, but he hasn't been able to feature very much since. Maybe now that he's showing a slight resurgence at Fulham, he could possibly be considered for bigger and better things. Maybe Tuchel can take a look at him and try and bring him in. But I just think that, again, you cannot expect all of these big wholesale, stable cleaning changes for your first game. I think that's asking for far too much. That's just my opinion. And we have to sort of give Tuchel the confidence that he knows what he's doing and he will know what the best course of action is. And so we picked him, albeit only for the World Cup. So all I'm saying is, give Tommy a chance, as John Lennon would say.
I don't know. Oh, in the bollocks, man. Bollocks. That is bollocks. And anyway, look at this. Under 21. Yeah, Branthwaite. This guy should be playing for England. He has been in the senior squad. I think he may have played a game or two, played a few minutes in an England game. And he's great enough. He's brilliant. He's doing well for his club. He's got to be played. I don't care about the fucking age, Manny. That is bollocks. Bullshit. Sorry, Rico Lewis has played for the full England team? Yeah. Why isn't he there? He could be playing. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, he came on for the England team as well, full England team. Joey Bellingham's as good as his brother. Why isn't he there? Elliot Anderson is brilliant. Has been amazing at Nottingham Forest. He's been incredible. So's Archie Gray. Apparently this Jamie Gittins, I've never really, still ain't heard of him. But apparently he's been brilliant as well. Jack Hinshelwood, I thought has been brilliant. He's a great player at Brighton. Adam Wharton should get a go. Why not? He is back. He has been playing now for Palace. Get him back in. He was taken to the World Cup and not played. That bloody Pratt, Waddy, Southgate weren't playing. Alex Scott's doing well. Was it Bournemouth, I believe? I think it's Bournemouth, Alex Scott. Getting well there. That has been great for Ipswich, a struggling Ipswich team. He's still doing well, scoring and whatever. Harvey Elliott's been brilliant at Liverpool. Okay, comes on most of the time as a sub. But he's quality. And Amari Hutchinson, he looks good at Ipswich. I rate this guy. Very good player. Apparently Sam Inning Jr. is good. McAtee, I've seen a lot of him. Really rate him. Wanyeri, and I'm sorry, Manny, I think he's brilliant. And I don't care what you say about the young age. Too young, not ready. No, I think he is. I think you've got to put him in. Jane Philogene as well. Good player. And Jay Stansfield, I'm sure his mother's really proud. Lisa, I'm sure she loves him. And he's doing well. Although I'm sure he got injured recently and might not be in it. I don't know. I'm sure he got injured. Bad injury for Birmingham. But he's been quality. He's been superb. And there's so many there. And I'm sorry, Manny, they should be playing. I don't agree with you whatsoever. I don't care. You know, it don't matter what age you are, old or young. You're still up to it. You can do it. And that's the only way they'll know is if they play. Another one, Tyler Dibling, should be there as well. Why isn't he there? Dibling has been immense for a struggling Southampton team that are going down, but he's been superb. There's a lot of these that should be playing, mate, and I'm afraid you're wrong, Manny. You're totally wrong, mate. And that's bollocks. And I'm going to put this up. Another article here. And right, and let's try and get to this. Hold on. Why is it not doing anything? Hold on a minute. Right, this one. Right. Who should Thomas Tuchel have really picked for England? Squad based solely on stats for this season includes defender based in France among 5 uncapped players. The German made a few surprise selections in his first England squad. England take on Albania and Latvia in their upcoming 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Thomas Tuchel sparked debate among 3 Lions supporters when he revealed his first England squad for the upcoming 2026 World Cup qualifiers last week. Veteran stars such as Kyle Walker and Jordan Henderson, who both play outside of England, have entered the twilight of their respective careers, made the list. There was also a recall for Marcus Rashford, who has found form after leaving Man United to join Aston Villa on loan. The likes of Nottingham Forest, Morgan Gibbs-White and Callum Hudson-Odoi were left out, despite their impressive form in the English top 5 as they bid to qualify for the Champions League. Although the former was a late call-up after initially being snubbed. Many felt aggrieved for the snub stars, who also included Tottenham fullback Jed Spence, and took to social media to vent their frustrations with Tuchel. But were they right to do so? Well, our friends at SofaScore have provided the definitive list of which players should and should not have been included. Right. Here we go. Sofa scores picks. Oh, sorry, Tuchel's picks. Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, Dean Henderson, James Trafford. Sofa scores picks. John Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, James Trafford. So they left out Dean Henderson. Probably about right, I would say. Although he's done okay with Palace. Done fairly well. But I'm still not sure. And to be honest, I would have put Trafford in. I know. We all know what Pickford can do. Ramsdale is down. He's with Southampton down there struggling. Okay, he's been pretty good actually, made a lot of good saves, but he's struggling. He's taking another team down again, going down. James Trafford, I'd have in all day long. What he's doing at Burnley, hasn't conceded a goal at all, pretty much. Yeah. In his squad announcement, Tuchel opted to name 4 goalkeepers. So, yeah, and why is there 4? They've got 3, and that's probably about right. 2 at least, or at least 2 or 3, not 4. Despite England playing just 2 matches during the March break, Jordan Pickford, Dean Henderson, Aaron Ramsdale, and James Trafford. SofaScore's stats suggest that the German coach has got it spot on in regards to his selection, with the 4 players being the highest rated this year. However, the stat boffins suggested that just 3 goalkeepers are needed for the upcoming fixtures, with Newcastle's Nick Pope falling just short. His 7.05 average rating from this season is bettered by Ramsdale 7.08, Trafford 7.08 and Pickford 7.21. Defenders Tuchel's picks: Dan Burn, Levi Colwill, Mark Gahey, Reece James, Ezri Konsa, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Tino Livramento, Jarrell Kwanzaa and Carl Walker. SofaScore's picks: James Tarkowski, Tosin Adarabioyo, which is just Tosin really, Mark Gahey, Charlie Cresswell, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, which you'll like, Manny, saying about him. And I think I'll probably agree as well. Should be there. Rico Lewis, Dan Burn and Tyrick Mitchell. This is where things get tricky. According to SofaScore, there are a number of notable omissions when it comes to Tuchel's defensive selections for this month's World Cup qualifiers. Their stats suggest that the likes of Levi Colwill, Ezri Konsa and Reece James should not have been called up and instead offered some interesting names. They claim that in central defence, the best options should have been James Tarkowski, Tosin, Mark Gahey and Charlie Cresswell. Everton's Tarkowski and Chelsea's Tosin have been integral to the success of their respective sides throughout the campaign and were unlucky to miss out. Meanwhile, Toulouse defender Cresswell, sorry about that, earned a surprising shout to be included after accruing an average rating of 7.18 for his displays in the French league. Since joining the French outfit from Leeds last summer, the 22-year-old has made 24 appearances for the side who currently sit 10th in the league table. Meanwhile, the stats also suggest that Tuchel was wrong to select the likes of Carl Walker and Miles Lewis-Skelly for the upcoming matches, which you'll agree with Miles Lewis-Skelly, I'm sure, Manny. There you go. The ratings claim that Jed Spence, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Dan Burn and Tyrick Mitchell have been the best English fullbacks across Europe's top 5 leagues. Spence particularly will feel hard done by after shining for Tottenham on both the left and right side amid their ongoing injury struggles. There was also no space for Tino Livramento or Jarrell Kwanzaa in SofaScore's list. Midfielder Tuchel's picks: Eberechi Eze, Morgan Gibbs-White, Jordan Henderson, Curtis Jones, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers. SofaScore's picks: Cole Palmer, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Eberechi Eze, James Maddison, Morgan Gibbs-White. Moving into the midfield, it's fair to say that Tuchel made some good calls. The selections there: Eberechi Eze, Morgan Gibbs-White, Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice and Morgan Rogers are all supported by the stats. But SofaScore's stats say James Maddison should have been included. The Tottenham Stars have 7.31 rating so far this season, with only Forest Gibbs-White 7.30, a late call-up amid injury concerns over Palmer below him on their list. Palmer 7.61 and Bellingham 7.54 are the two highest rated midfielders in Tuchel's squad, according to their figures. SofaScore believe Tuchel was wrong to pick Jordan Henderson, arguably the England manager's most controversial selection, and Curtis Jones. Ex-Liverpool midfielder Henderson has struggled at Ajax, but the German gave him the nod for the upcoming fixtures, with the decision met by widespread criticism. But Tuchel said, "I think his career and the way he plays now and imposes himself at Ajax is just so impressive. He builds on character, personality and energy that he brings to the team. For me, Jordan is a similar call-up for the same reasons as Dan Burn. They carry these values on their shoulders and they carry their teams. It's absolutely reliable that what they bring in terms of energy. And this is where the focus is also for us to build a strong team and a cohesive team. Jordan is a big piece in that puzzle for us." Forwards, Tuchel's picks: Jared Bowen, Phil Foden, Anthony Gordon, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Dominic Solanke. SofaScore's picks: Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Jared Bowen, Anthony Gordon and Dominic Solanke. Tuchel has also followed the stats when it comes to the forwards. SofaScore believes the only error the new manager has made is selecting Marcus Rashford, recalled to the squad for the first time in a year over Callum Hudson-Odoi. Rashford has made 9 appearances in all competitions for Aston Villa since joining on loan from Man United, and while he is yet to score, the forward has made a valuable contribution, including notching 4 assists. And there is the SofaScore rating. He has shown signs of a revival under Unai Emery, responding impressively to being left out of Man United's squad in the final weeks of his time at his boyhood club. And Rashford was rewarded by being one of the headline inclusions in Tuchel's first squad. But SofaScore's stats says his place should have gone to Hudson-Odoi. The Forest forward is their third highest ranked of the season so far, with a rating of 7.18. Only Harry Kane 7.74 and Foden 7.37 have scored higher. But Hudson-Odoi's form for Champions League chasing Forest, including 5 goals and 2 assists, was not enough to earn a call-up. But why wasn't it? I don't know. Strange. But anyway, let's go back to Manny and see what he thinks of it all. But to me, that said a lot.
You know what, Steve? Steve, there's a very big part of me that thinks that the purpose of a lot of these articles is to try to, stir up controversy like a hornet's nest when, England are just about to play their first match under Tuchel. And this is another reason why sometimes the media just, give the team a break. There are going to be a lot more games. There'll be more squads to be picked, tougher tests to be taken, and these players will get their chances. I agree with you on the likes of Tyreek Mitchell, the likes of, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Jed has done well, probably not as well as, the fact that Spencer's right-footed, you know how I feel about right-footed left. Can't stand them, to be honest. And he much better suited playing right as an attacking option. But of course, two games will occupy that spot. You have to think someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold will also have a role to play. Maybe he'll end up playing as the right winger in that 4-3. I don't know. We'll have to find out. There's another reason why a lot of people say, stats only tell half of the story. And while I agree that Callum Hudson-Odoi is very unfortunate not to be called up, you cannot deny the impact that Marcus Rashford has had. His partnership with the likes of Marco Asensio and Morgan Rogers, who is also in the England squad, by the way, has been quite outstanding. And once he finally gets his goal, you have a feeling that the floodgates will open. I'd take him over Kai Havertz any day at Arsenal. Let me tell you that. Look, all I will say, there are several players in the team who should be there. I really don't think Kyle Walker should be in the squad. That's where I can completely agree. No, I think I think several other right back options available once fit. His best fit should be behind him. Maybe he actually could be a back route once he earns his 100th cap. I don't know. We'll have to see. But all I'm trying to say right now is, and I don't want to, continue this sort of controversial air. Let's just give Tuchel a chance with these squads, and there will be changes for the upcoming game. Let's just leave it at that. Let's back the manager. Let's back the boys. I'm sure they'll get some good results.
Well, if they don't, Manny, I'm going for him, mate. I ain't holding back. I don't care because I think this is so.
Come for me too. If we don't do well, by all means, pile into him and pile into me. I'm a big boy. I can take it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to come back on here and say you're wrong, Manny, and it's going to be clipped and everything you said about you're backing him.
Yes. By all means, do that.
But anyway, mate, what are we going to go for the team here? What are we going to say with this in mind? What he's gone for? Obviously, no doubt he put Pickford in goal. When rather, I wouldn't mind giving Trafford a go. I'd like to give Trafford a go. You see what he's done?
But here's the thing, though. A lot of people are raving about James Trafford and how well he's done with Burnley, but look, that's the Championship. He had his chance in the Premiership where he was given his chance by Vincent Kompany ahead of Arian Muric, who did brilliantly for Burnley when they got promoted. And Trafford was literally, in over his head. Okay? It's good that he's having another season in the Championship to sort of build up his confidence, and maybe once Burnley come back, he'll be a little bit more battle-scarred and better for the experience, you'd like to think. But he already had his chances against superior opposition in the Premiership, and he didn't do well at all. So again, this is another reason why for some of these players it's just too much too soon. So as I said, I do believe that Tuchel will probably go for two different teams. So he might end up giving Pickford and Henderson goalkeeping responsibilities. I really don't think Ramsdale would be at all suited. And I don't even think he should be in the England squad. Never mind the goals he's been conceding at Southampton. It's just in terms of technical ability, there are so many things lacking. And I saw a lot of those things when he was with Arsenal. So it will be Pickford in goal. And I remember telling you that he'd go for a 3-4-3 for some defensive stability. So he will probably end up playing with Ezri Konsa and Dan Burn and Mark Gahey as the centre backs. Dan Burn, because that 6'7" presence over there will always be, an asset. The only question is who he would play as a left wing back. Would it be Mars Lewis-Skelly or Levi Colwill? I suppose he probably would have to start with Lewis-Skelly, who's caught the headlines in both good and bad ways. But Colwill also will be pushing for that. On the right wing, it could be either Jared Bowen or Morgan Gibbs-White. I was going for Bowen, great super smashing, but now that Gibbs-White has come into the team, I don't see why he shouldn't be picked to play on the right wing. Then you'd have Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham having the two central midfield roles, and then you'd have Kane up front with Rashford on the left. And no, wait a minute. No, Bowen should be up front as the winger on the right, and then you could possibly have Morgan Gibbs-White playing on the right wing. So Pickford, Konsa, Burn, Gahey, Gibbs-White, Rice, Bellingham, Lewis-Skelly, Bowen, Kane, Rashford. That's my starting 11. 3-4-3.
I sort of agree with some of that. I mean, myself, I'd still like some. We know what Pickford can do in goal. We know all day what he can do. These are two smaller teams, and no disrespect to them. Let's get somebody else in to give them experience. I'd either put Trafford in or get Henderson in again. Because, look, Henderson's had 2 senior caps at least. So you'd give it maybe above Trafford, but you could also give him a cap because what are they going to do against us, our defence anyway? They're nothing, these two, Albania and Latvia. Yeah, Albania a little bit more potent than Latvia, say. but they're still not going to offer that much up front. I would give Trafford a go. We know what Pickford can do. We all know what he can do. Let's give someone else a go. Because you don't know what's going to come eventually. You might need one or two of these to play. So I would give him a go while you can, And here, obviously, I would go you with Konza and all that. Definitely Konza. Probably Gahey. And I'd have, obviously, I don't think you could put Reece James in. It's too soon. He's not long come back from injury. I don't know why he's in the squad. To be honest, I know why what's Wan-Bissaka ain't there, to be honest. I really don't understand that. But like you said, why he's not there. Probably would you have Burn? I don't know. The thing with Burn is I think if he's not quick, he's got no pace. He could be done, but then again, they might not have many pacey forwards, these two. So he could be okay there. You're saying you probably would go Lewis Skelly. Did you say that or not? Did you say Lewis Skelly or not, Manny? Would you have him or you wouldn't play him, would you, really? You said? No. I'd definitely have Konza. I'd have Livramento as well. I think he's good. I think he's good enough, what I've seen of him. So I'd have probably Colwill, Gahey, the two central right and left backs, centre backs. I would have Livramento on the right. Or did we say Konza I'd have at the centre back with Gahey. And I'd have right back Livramento. And I'd have probably maybe Colwill on the left if I have to. Probably Colwill. The midfield I'd have definitely Gibbs White. I agree with you there. Possibly, definitely Rodgers. He's got to play. I think he's quality. Rice, yeah, for sure. Probably Eze as well. For me. And forwards, I'd have Bowen as well. I'd probably have him on the right. Obviously Bellingham as well. You can't forget him I think he's more midfield than forward. But still. I wouldn't play Foden. I think his form's gone off a cliff. He's just not played well for City or England. You don't go with Gordon maybe for a bit of pace on the left as well. I suppose you would just go for Rashford over Solanke because of his injuries as well. Solanke, I don't think he's quite fit enough. And with Kane there up front. I don't know if that was a bit. Well, I don't know if I got that quite right. All that I put in there, but some of them were similar to you, Manny. Obviously, I still don't know why, as you said, why Wan-Bissaka's not there. I thought he's been great all season at West Ham. I just don't understand that. It's another one. I'm really shocked why he's not been picked. And on with Spence and Hudson-Odoi and players like that, But what did you go for 4-4-2, didn't you?
No, I went for a 3, Steve.
Sorry? What was it?
I went for a 3-3 because that is Tuchel's preferred formation. I think it was the formation he used when Chelsea Champions League. Normally, of course, I think he would prefer a back four, but maybe it would be with a back four that he could get the chance to take advantage of the midfield talent he has at his disposal. Obviously, with Rice, it would have mean that Rice and Henderson would be double defenders midfield pivot. Then you could play him as usual, as normally. But I think he might decide to go a little bit more defensive and then try and have a much packed midfield and then take it from there. But we'll see what happens. It will be interesting to see what sort of position he uses today. I will, of course, be glued to the telly watching everything. But yeah, like I'm prepared to sort of see how this pans out. We should get the win over Albania, and he deserves the benefit of doubt. That's all I'm going to say. As long as he doesn't pick the likes of Phil Foden, that's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. What score are you going for then for this one, Manny? Well, for Albania first.
We should keep a clean sheet against the Albanians, and I'm confident enough for a 3-0 win.
I think that's what I went for. I'd ideally 4 or 3-0 at least. Nothing like that. If less than that, would be good enough. As far as I'm concerned, if it's only like a 1-0 or something, I think that'd be terrible, dreadful. Because you got to beat these teams well. They're nothing. They're lower class teams. They're lower teams, and no disrespect to them at all, but they are. And you've got to be beating teams like this really well and performing well. Let's see a good performance from our lads as well, because they haven't always done it, have they? In these, especially in qualification, they've gone through the motions at times, and I think you should be performing. And let's do it against these lower teams,
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I agree, probably a 3-0 or 4-0. And I think, Latvia, that's not, next Monday, isn't it? We will go into that more probably on the buzz next Monday, but I think we at least a 4 or 5-0 there, I would say, against them. But we will go into it more on Monday. But thanks for coming on, mate. Anyway, thanks to Warren coming on earlier, because we've gone over 2 hours here. It's 2 hours 12. And, it's going to remain to be seen. We're going to see what happens with this. I'm still not happy with the squad. I will keep saying that. I know what you're saying. I know he's gone for this and, it might change. It'll probably be different later on. But for the time being, I'm not really happy with it. And I'd like to see us, if we don't win well and win big, I think that's it. I'm not going to stand back, mate. I'm going to go for him. So that's it. And but yeah, let's hope we do something. I really do. Anyway, mate, where can we find you?
Well, first of all, as always, Steve, big up to you for hosting this stream, and big up to, of course, for coming on earlier. You can catch me on both of your channels. This one, where you're still buzzing, louder than you've ever been, looking like a true survivor and feeling like a little kid, as John would say. I don't want to go too further. You love Rocket Man as much as I do. Yeah. And also on the other channel where you chat England cricket, and there will be a lot to talk about in the coming days. It's good that Harry Brook has now been banned for 2 years from the IPL. Maybe he can focus on getting back his form with the England white ball teams. We'll have to see. Also catch me on several other channels, Del Boy Gunner TV, Coach's Corner, Oris Talks Football, and also Up the Cherries in all departments. Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, Rich Sports, Football United, Gundown UK, The Southern Gooner, Spurs U Asian TV, and I've also been on Warren's channel on more than a few occasions, done some streams with him. Really good channel, some good stuff with him. Do check that out if you can. And there have been several other channels where I've made appearances over the years. All channels which I do rate very highly, all quite important to me. And if they don't believe me when I tell them that they're important to me, as always, there will be a check in the post. But as Steve himself will agree, I've got to start writing them. And a huge update concerning Brentford International Football. Brian and Bomo's Cameroon were held to a shock 0-0 draw away from home by a nation called Eswatini as qualifying for the World Cup resumed on Wednesday in Africa. He actually hit the bar with a curling effort in the first half, but they still didn't take four. And Manchester United's Andre Onana very nearly scored a freak winner with his huge goal kick, ending up bouncing inside the 6-yard box and just narrowly over the Eswatini bar. And so a shock result for the Indomitable Lions, but they should still be expected to make heavy weather, make it. They should be able to qualify easily from their group. So hopefully Brian won't be so angry when it comes back to the G-Tech. And of course, football is, of course, resuming for Europe tomorrow, as has been mentioned. Scotland will be going first, and then, of course, we'll get to see England and Ireland, Wales play. Nothing for Northern Ireland, I think. Sad, but maybe if they do have something, we'll probably get to look at that in a later stream. But for now, though, we're going to be enjoying this. I always enjoy international football. I don't know if Steve's necessarily the same as me in that regard. But if you enjoy international football as much as I do, then I'm sure you'll enjoy the game to be on offer. Should be from available on free-to-air television across the British Isles, wherever you may be living, so do enjoy that. And, of course, until we meet again, I'm sure we'll be meeting on Sunday or Monday to discuss the plan of action for England's second qualifier, among other things. But until then, as always, take care of yourself, be safe, and be happy. Do unto others as you'd have others do unto you, and don't do anything that Mr. B or I wouldn't do. Until then, farewell to thee, goodbye, and God bless to all of you. And I'm a little bit tired at the moment, so I'm actually going to sleep because I've got a pretty big day tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, cheers, Manny. Good one, buddy. I'm doing the game against Albania, actually. I'm doing the watch-along for that this Friday. So, if everyone wants to watch that, tune in. I'll be doing that on this Friday. So make sure you watch all that. Obviously, subscribe to me, Mr. B for Life 182 on Insta. Check me out there. Mr. B Hive Football Chat, Mr. B Chats England Cricket. And, please keep it coming along, all the likes, the subs, everything, Keep subbing and smashing the likes and keep following me. Keep the love going. I'll take it all the time, love and support. So, and thanks to Manny once again, and thanks to Warren. And, I went a bit mad because I do hate what Tuchel's done here. I still don't think he's right now. And I'm sorry, Manny, but you're talking bollocks, mate. Absolute bollocks. Excuse for that bad language there, Miss Melina. Be up to you. Manny's just gone. So you missed it all. It was quite interesting. Really. We had a good discussion here about all the games. As I say, I'm still not happy with the squad. I think, there's a lot of better players we could have put in there, younger players. And should have given them experience. But no, I know what Tuchel's playing at, to be honest. And this is what I had up here. I hope you like this one, Melina. Tuchel is the German Southgate. That's what I think. Picking players that had finished years ago, like Carl Walker and Jordan Henderson, players like that. Why? We've got so many other players that are on form. Younger players, but so what? Branthwaite, Lewis Skelly, as you know, at Arsenal. Of course, Wanyeri. Quality, there's a lot of great players. Spence, Hudson-Odoi, yeah. Gibbs White is in there now. But there's just so many others they could have put in. Hinshelwood. There's just loads. I mean, I don't know why Lewis Potter didn't get a call up either for us. He plays for us. Of course, Lewis Potter has been great this season. But, yeah. There's just so many. And I totally disagree. Manny saying you should give the guy a go. I will give him a go. But if it all goes Pete Tong, or we lose, or don't score enough goals, or it's not good enough, don't play well enough, I'm going for him. And that's it. But anyway, guys, thanks to everyone that's been watching on playback or live or whatever. And, thanks to everyone, and to you, Mel, thanks for coming in. I know you come in a bit late, but thanks for leaving a comment and all that. And obviously all the rest, Saskia Guna, Luca, Kev, and all that. And as I say, we're doing the watch along on Friday, England, Albania. And obviously reaction and stuff over the weekend to it, probably Saturday or Sunday. And then Monday, obviously, be doing the buzz. I won't do watch along for the Latvia game, but I'll do the buzz. And then the buzz again, obviously the buzz still buzzing, which is this one. So anyway, guys, I'm going to bounce because I'm hungry as well. Want to get something to eat. But thanks, everyone, once again. And I'm out of here. Cheers, everyone. Bye. Bye.